الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته ومنتهى علمه وجميع ما شاء وخلق وضرع وبرع علم الغيب والشهادة الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون أما بعد فيقول الله تعالى في سورة يوسف ألف لام را تلك آيات الكتاب المبين إنا أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخواتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, send peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Before we actually get into the khutbah, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. Alhamdulillah, first I'd like to apologize to the brothers because our furnace is out, we're having problems with it. Someone was supposed to come this morning, but for whatever reason they didn't show, so it's kind of cold down here, inshallah. The sisters are right, they're cool upstairs, alhamdulillah. And a couple of weeks ago, we did a Jummah khutbah specifically dealing with the adab, the etiquette of Yawmul Jummah. And one of those things is that the khutbah actually takes the place of the salat. In other words, for Salatul Dhuhr, we pray 4 rak'ahs. Salatul Jum'ah, which is taking the place of Salatul Dhuhr, is actually only 2 rak'ahs. But the khutbah, giving and listening to the khutbah, is a substitute for the 2 rak'ahs of Salatul Dhuhr that we would normally make. And all of our scholars have said that when you're listening to the Jummah khutbah, you should be facing the Qibla. Now I understand some people have back problems, what have you, but you should be in range. We shouldn't be all types of facing all kind of crazy ways. Inshallah, this is part of the adab for the Jummah khutbah. And we are only here for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I say on many occasions, you know, it'd be sad when you put in effort, because a lot of us are, you know, we giving up money to come here. In this country, Jummah is a work day. And so, and I know in my line, it's the most lucrative day of the week. It happens to be on Jummah. So for us being here, it's a sacrifice. And it's a shame that, you know, we will come to sacrifice and then don't get the reward of what we sacrificed for. It's like going to work, working hard, and you say, okay, in your mind, you're calculating all this overtime that you got. But then when it's time to get your paycheck, you only see your 40 hours. You say, whoa, I worked all this overtime. I want my time and a half. You say, you didn't punch in. You didn't follow the rules. How do I know you were here? And so it's the same way with a lot of our ibadat, a lot of our worship. A lot of times we do it, sometimes we do it robotically, but we're supposed to be doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we do these things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we got to do it the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to do it, not the way we want to do it. If you go to your job and you say, okay, I know the rules, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Your boss is going to either fire you or you're not going to get what you want to get. Or he might even tolerate your shenanigans for a while and then fire you. So alhamdulillah. We want to discuss a few ayat from Surah Yusuf. Surah Yusuf is one of the most eloquent stories, eloquent surahs of the Quran because of its explicit and visual detail of what happened to Prophet Yusuf. In fact, inside of Surah Yusuf, it describes, it is Ahsan al-Qasas, one of the most beautiful stories. Surah Yusuf, and not only the surah itself, but the background. The family of Yusuf, everything surrounding this situation, I think it is of critical importance for us. Because Shaitan, our open enemy, he attacks where we are weak at. And for a lot of us, we represent the legacy of families that were broke up. What do I mean? The people who were captured, kidnapped, and brought here as slaves from the African continent. They were brought here, they were made slaves. They were snatched from their families. Most of us, our ancestors were snatched from their families. They were broken from their families. And then here, being forced to work for no money. A lot of people don't understand. And even when we was going through the Risala, we had to clarify on several occasions. Because when you mention the word slave, in your mind, most of us, the transatlantic slave trade is what comes to mind. And so when you read fiqh texts or when you read stories about other types of slavery, even some slavery that's still going on now, in our mind we think they're both the same, and they're not the same. See, the transatlantic slave trade dealt with dehumanizing people, saying you were subhuman, less than human. Matter of fact, our animals have more rights than you. Our horses and our dogs have just as much or more rights than you. And so a lot of us come from that history, that legacy. And going through that experience, you could be on a slave plantation. You were owned by somebody. Your serial number was the last name of your slave master. That was your barcode. That was your UPC code. Your slave master's last name. His name was Johnson. Your last name was Johnson. His last name was Smith. Your last name was Smith. When he sold you to somebody else, your slave master's last name was Johnson, and he sold you to a slave master named Smith. Your last name is now Smith. You were like property, chattel slavery. You weren't a human being. It's not like two different tribes had a war with each other, and then one tribe captured some prisoners from the other tribe, and then made them work or buy their way out of slavery. That's two different things. So when anybody talks about slavery, you must get some clarity on what type of slavery you're talking about. We mention this because a lot of times we were sold across plantations. You could have a wife and you're like, I don't need you no more, I'm gonna sell you over here. And your wife was sold off, or you were sold off. Or the slave master took it upon himself to go with you as a male or your wife, female, intimately. That first part I said that a lot of people don't talk about it. And so we come from a legacy of broken families, a lot of us. Some people migrated to this country. They left their families, some of them with the intention to go back home. Some of them never made it back home. Even when you look at a lot of our brothers who are dealing with refugee situations, where they're fleeing their homeland, when they get to a lot of these countries, a lot of these Western countries, they get there. They say, okay, woman, child, you can stay. The man, you can't stay. You have to go back home. So when you look at us as black people or any place else in the world, you recognize that Shaitan attacks the family. Because the family is the building block of the community. He attacks the family even before the family comes together. He'll induce us to marrying the wrong person, somebody we're not compatible with, somebody who we just lusting after to fulfill our needs. And then after we get married, Shaitan tries to seduce us to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the act of intimacy, where we don't recite the dua of protection from Shaitan. Then Shaitan, he doesn't stop there. When the child is born, Shaitan is on deck. He's right there. You think it's just you and the doctor or the wet nurse? No, Shaitan is there too. And as the Prophet ﷺ informed us, that when a baby cries, he's crying because Shaitan pricked him. He's right there. He wants influence over the child. So don't think that Shaitan is in a state of ghafla, heedlessness like us. He's on point. He never practices CPT, color people, how we show up late. When the baby's born, he's right there to prick him. He's not late. He's on time. So Shaitan attacks the family. And this Surah Yusuf is, I believe, is extremely important because it deals with the intricacies of a particular family, a prophetic family, the family of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. This is a family coming from a long legacy of prophets. The head of the family, Yaqub, he's a prophet. Yusuf, he's going to become a prophet. Yusuf, his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, prophets. This is a house of righteousness. But even when you look at their house, you see they was not saved from attacks from the Shaitan. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa afdalu salatu wa atamu tasneem ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een wa radiyallahu ta'ala ala sajid al-tabi'een wa ulama al-amalin wa a'immat al-arabat al-mujtahideen wa muqallideen ila yawm al-din amma ba'd. Allah begins this surah by mentioning three letters. Alif, Lam, Ra. And these are what are called huruf muqatta'a. These are what they call abbreviated letters or broken up letters. They just individual letters. And when you look at the different books of tafsir, depending on who the mufassirin of the scholar giving the commentary is, all of these surahs that have these letters in it, it may say, perhaps Allah means this. perhaps Allah means that, or perhaps these letters could mean such and such or so and so, or perhaps this letter is referring to such and such. But in the end of the day, Allahu Alam, we don't know what it means. So only Allah knows what these letters mean. It's one of the miracles of the Quran. And then Allah continues, Tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin. These are the ayat, these are the verses of the clear book. And this is why it's extremely important that when we try to look at things, when we try to understand the world around us, when we try to understand our individual circumstances or our individual calamities or anything around us, our understanding of it should be rooted in the Quran. Whatever we see going on around us, whether it's a situation at work, whether it's a situation in the family, whether it's, because now we're in America, it's election season, and everybody's talking about this and that, who's going to become, the president, who could be the president, who has power, who doesn't have power. When you look at this situation, is your understanding of what's going on rooted in the Quran? Or is your belief in the Quran is deficient, and you think that the Quran doesn't cover what's going on now? You think the Quran is only for 1400 years ago? Do you not think that the Quran deals with what's going on politically and tells you and shows you how you should, or what your position should be during this time?
No, that's yourself.
Because the Quran makes things clear. When you look at something, because everything has an archetype, everything has something that is based on. Our situation is no different. It's just up to you to say, okay, this happened before. Allah talks about it. Which situation in the Quran is most similar to this situation? And once we look at things from this perspective, everything becomes real clear and real simple. Allah continues, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبل لمن الغافلين. We relate to you, or we narrate to you, the best of narrations or the best of stories, as we mentioned before. أحسن القصص. That we reveal to you from this Quran. And prior to these revelations, you were from amongst those who were heedless. In other words, you didn't know about these things. And again, this is one of the miracles that the Prophet ﷺ brought. Because he didn't take any classes with any Jewish rabbis or anything like that. How did he know so much about Prophet Yusuf? And so then Allah goes in. He says, إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. Yusuf said to his father, "O my beloved father, I saw in a dream 11 stars, the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating to me." Now think about this. Yusuf has 11 brothers. 10 of his brothers are from different mothers. So he has what we call stepbrothers. I really don't like that terminology because in Islam, Arabic, your brother's your brother. If you got the same mother, the same father, guess what? You're brothers. You're not half, you're not step, you're not up, down, left, right, you're brothers, period. So, but these brothers had different mothers. And his father's mother. So most of us know this story, so it makes sense. It's easy to us to get some idea of what the meaning of this dream was. Okay, 11 stars, you got 11 brothers. You got father and the mother. Okay, hey, they prostrated to. Okay, this is some type of symbolism, but obviously it's relating to my household because the numbers match up. So Yusuf saw in this dream that these celestial bodies are prostrating to him. The father says, And this is, before we mention what the Father says, this is extremely important because all prophets have the gift of interpreting dreams. That's one thing that all prophets have. And the one part of prophecy, because there's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that the narration of dreams is one of 46 parts of prophecy. And that's the only part that still remains. So you have people who have this gift of being able to interpret dreams. Because most dreams are in black and white, where something happens in your dream and it's going to happen exactly the way it happened in your dream in real life. And we know dreams have an effect upon reality, because dreams come from one of three things. It's either something that you're thinking about a whole lot and it's on your mind while you're up, then you dream about it. Or the shaitan comes to you in your dream. And the Prophet ﷺ informed us that if he said, Ruhya Soliha min Allah, good dreams are from Allah, Ruhumu min shaitan. What we call nightmares or bad dreams are from the shaitan. When we have these bad dreams, we're supposed to seek refuge with Allah. And we're supposed to spit over our left shoulder 3 times. Now, spit don't mean how we mean spit, like liquid leaving your mouth, next to your bed is all nasty, hot spit. No, it don't mean that. It's just like you releasing air from your mouth. Like that. Or for you can't hear me. Just like that. You're not actually spitting, no liquid coming out of your mouth. You're supposed to do that. And the Prophet ﷺ said that will protect you from the harm of the dream, which is a proof that something that comes to you in a dream can affect you in real life. Because doing that will protect you from the harm of the dream. Or the dream could be a good inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what we call ilham. Not wahi, revelation like prophets get, but ilham, like good inspiration, or the angels put something good on you. And so the dreams are another realm. Because see, when we're sleeping, when we're awake, our ruh, our spirit is contained in our body. So our spirit can only travel so fast, as fast as our body can take it, etc., etc., etc. When you sleep, you experience what's called wafatul nawm. The wafat, if you know Arabic, is one of the words that means death. So when you sleep, you literally die. Death meaning your spirit leaves your body. Your ruh leaves your body. But the difference between wafatul nawm and wafatul maut is that when your spirit leaves your body during maut, it doesn't come back. At least you get in the grave and the angels question you. But it don't come back for you to continue your life. Wafatul nawm is your body will come back to you. Your soul, your ruh will come back to your body. This is why in your dream, your spirit, your ruh, can experience a whole week's worth of activity. In your dream, you done woke up, you made 5 salats, you went to the airport, you got on a plane, you went to vacation, you made Hajj, you came back, you went over there, you visit your cousin, and then, the dream was over, you woke up, and you only been sleeping 2 hours. But in your dream, you really experience all that, because your spirit is not contained by time, by the time that your body is contained with. So Yusuf had this dream. And his father, who he came to for the interpretation, before telling him what the dream meant, he said, "Qala ya bunayya, O my beloved son, la taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatika." O my beloved son, do not tell your brothers about your dream. Do not tell your brothers, your blood brothers, about your dream. فَيَكِيدُ لَكَ كَيْدًا, because they will plot against you. Now, this is something that we have to take into consideration. Remember, these people way more righteous than us. This is a prophetic household. Even in that situation, Prophet Yaqub told him, do not tell your brothers about your dream, because they will plot against you. And this is a situation that a lot of us are afflicted with in this life. Because if we have a dream or a vision, and we tell somebody about it, they will plot against you. Because they don't want good for you. A lot of people don't want good for you. Yes, even some of your Muslim brothers and sisters. You can't have a vision around certain people. Because most people can't see past their face. They don't have any goals or aspirations. Who are you to have any goals and aspirations? Why do you want to do something better with yourself? Some of you watch movies. A lot of you watch movies. Don't pretend you don't watch movies. What's the typical drug dealer movie? Yo, I'm about to get out the game. Oh, no, you ain't. Or you trying to be legal? You trying to do things right and legitimate? No, the only life we have is this filthy, illegal life. And you ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, I'm going to set you up so you're forced to stay in it. That's the human nature. When some people try to aspire to higher things, there's always somebody around you that you would think would want to, oh, I'm with you. Or I'm not with you, I can't do that, but I support you. No. They hate you because of it. And will lose sleep plotting against you. Why? Because you have some high aspirations. Don't sleep on jealousy. Don't sleep on hasad. We call it nowadays hate. You can be just as broke, just as poor, everything physically the same, and somebody be jealous of you. You can't put logic to hasad, jealousy. It don't work out. I've seen situations where somebody has more money, more popularity, more influence, family all together, wife more attractive, and still jealous of somebody that don't have all that. You can't put logic to hasad, to jealousy. It don't work out. So his father said, do not tell your brothers about your dream because they will plot against you. Inna shaytana lil-insani aduwwun mubin. Because shaitan is the mankind an open enemy. Shaitan is the one that's inspiring these things. You don't wake up, you're not born hating your blood brother, your Muslim brother. Somebody's inspiring that in you, and that's the shaitan. And we know, as the story goes on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah will choose you and make you a prophet and teach you these interpretation of dreams. Then after that, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he goes on and he narrates what the brothers are talking about. Yusuf is more beloved by our father than us. Think about it, these are blood brothers in a prophetic household. These are not children of crack babies or nothing like that. This is not in the hood. This is not Homewood. This is not Harlem. This is not South Central. This is in a prophetic household. What did one of the brothers say? Uqtulu Yusuf. Let's kill Yusuf. Well, no. Let's not kill him. Let's throw him in the well. This is what they talking about. Don't sleep on that. A lot of times it's not always good to tell your dreams and your plans to everybody around you. It's sad that it's like that, but that's the reality. That's why it's always good to keep righteous company. Because somebody that's righteous, that fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they see that hasad in themselves, they will make tawbah, they will rectify it. With somebody that doesn't have that taqwa, somebody that doesn't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can tell people that have a high level of taqwa. Just because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us, and many scholars have said the same thing in their own words, that someone who thinks about something, he mentions them often. If you love something, you mention it often. One who loves a thing mentions it often. Just look at the content of the conversation of everybody around you. What do they talk about all the time? talk about Allah and His Messenger, Al-Islam, or something else. Who's the hottest rapper? Who's the richest rapper? Who should have been to the Oscars? Who should have boycotted the Oscars? Who's going to be the president? Who's not going to be the president? Where are we going to move if so-and-so become president? You know you ain't going nowhere. You love the plantation. You stay right here. We're going to talk about it all day, though. If this is 90% of that conversation, this is what they love. So we need to keep those people around us who remember Allah much around us. And we need to take a lesson. We only scratched the surface. I mentioned this surah in this khutbah because I want you all to look deeper into this surah. Look at the tafsir of this surah. Look at the family of Yusuf even before Yusuf was born. Look into Prophet Yaqub and his family dynamics. There's a lot that's going on here. There's a lot that set the stage for what you see in Surah Yusuf. And I'm sure that we all can relate to what set that stage.
Imam Naeem Abdullah of Masjid Al-Mu'min and Nur Zaman Institute is available for speaking engagements. You can contact Imam Naeem Abdullah at the following: via telephone at 267-388-0823 or write him at 537 Paulson Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15206, or via email at imamnaeem@nurzamaninstitute.org.
Bismillah.